Hello everyone, today we are going to explain the difference between prescriptive approach and descriptive approach. But what actually these terms are? The answer is when you study a language or want to learn a language, so there are two schools of thought who have different views about a language use. Their views are called prescriptive approach and descriptive approach, and simply you can also say that prescriptive grammar or descriptive grammar. Well, let me explain it one by one. The first one is prescriptive grammar. So let me tell you in points and you will understand it then. The first point is language should be used according to rules and regulations. What does it mean by this point? Simply it means that the linguists who support this approach claim that a language should be used on the basis of those rules and regulations they prescribe. So it means that they first prescribe the rules and regulation, so they claim that language should be used according to their rules and regulation. In other words, they believe that a language rules and regulations should be written first and then they should be applied in a spoken language. I think you are not getting the point. For example, if someone says a sentence and does not follow the rules and regulation, so his or her sentence will be considered incorrect. It does not study how a language is used, but how a language should be used. The meaning of this statement is, this school of thought does not care about how a language is used in a society, but they prescribe their own ways of using a language. Normally, the correct thing seems to us is that rules and regulations should come later after speech, but they first bring rules and regulation and then speech. So simply they prescribe something to you. They prescribe rules and regulation. On the basis of those rules and regulation, we have to talk. If we do not follow their rules and regulations, so our sentences will be considered incorrect. Sentences should be in conformity with grammatical structures. The structures they prescribe for a sentence should be used accordingly. If a sentence diverges from it, then it will be considered incorrect. So, it should be in conformity with it. You might be thinking that about the rules and regulations they prescribe. So, let me tell you some of the rules they prescribe it, so then you will get it. The first rule is you must not split the infinitives. As you know, infinitive is to plus base verb like to go, to eat, to speak. So they say it should not be split. For example, look at this sentence. We were told to carefully view each star. Here in this example, the infinitive to view is split by an adverb carefully. So according to them, the correct sentence should be like this. We were told to view each star carefully. So now you can say that here the infinitive is not split to view. But in the first one, the infinitive is split by an adverb carefully. The second rule is you must not end a sentence with a preposition. In this approach, a sentence ended with a preposition is not accepted. For example, who did you go with? This sentence is ended with a preposition, that is with. So they do not accept it as a correct sentence. According to them, the correct sentence should be like this. With whom did you go? The third rule is a sentence should never begin with the word and. Descriptive approach. Use first comes and then rules. What does it mean? It means that this school of thought believes that rules should be drawn according to a language, that's how it is used in a society. And they do not prescribe anything to a language, but they only describe it that how a language is spoken in a society. I think you are not getting the point. So let me tell you in simple words. Simply they do not prescribe any rules and regulation for a language use, but first they observe a language and then collect samples and then attempt to describe the regular structure of a language as it is used. Simply they do not impose rules and regulations without observing a language. Descriptive approach describes a language. This approach does not suggest or prescribe rules and regulation for a language, but it just describes how a language is used by people. Simply in prescriptive grammar, we have studied that they prescribes rules and regulation for using a language. But in this one, this only describes a language, that how people use it, and they are not concerned with right or wrong sentences. They only just describe that how people talk in a society. It does not deal with what is good or bad language. What does it mean? It means that this approach has nothing to do with correct or incorrect sentences. As we have studied earlier that in prescriptive approach that infinitive should not be split or a sentence should not be started with the word and, etc. Well guys, if you have enjoyed the lecture, please like and subscribe the channel, and see you next time. Bye bye.